Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, my friends. Today I got a genuine pleasure as I have actually good news to report for you on the fate of Dead or Alive. The last time we talked about Dead or Alive on the channel, and Dead or Alive is one of my favorite fighting game franchises ever, we were talking about how the currently in development projects were cancelled and the franchise was effectively put on ice after the very poor reception on multiple levels of Dead or Alive 6, and that was closer to the beginning of this year. That's about as doom and gloom as you can get. Dead or Alive 6 simply wasn't it, which is a damn shame because Dead or Alive 5, Last Round specifically, is the best version of the game in the franchise, and as far as I'm concerned, one of the better fighting games ever made, honestly. I think Dead or Alive 5 Last Round is a fantastic game. But good as it was, Dead or Alive 6 definitely wasn't that. Confusing messaging, bad gameplay decisions, and eventually Yohei Shimbori, who was the head of the franchise, basically kind of had to retire in disgrace. So basically bad times all around, but here's the uptick. Here is the upside. The franchise Dead or Alive looks like it's getting another chance at life. In the form, apparently, of just a straight up reboot. So at an event called the G-Star Conference, which is a Korean gaming industry event, the current head of Team Ninja over at Koei Tecmo, that is one Fumihiko Yasuda, basically gave a bunch of talk about what's happening with Team Ninja in the present and in the future. As you probably well know, even though, I know Dead or Alive 6 didn't exactly move mountains, Team Ninja has been doing great work otherwise, right? The Neo games are incredibly popular. Their new Three Kingdoms-inspired Souls game, Wo Long Fallen Dynasty, comes out early next year, and they also have a new samurai open-world game, Rise of the Ronin, coming out sometime in 2024. So things are working out for Team Ninja, is basically what I'm saying. Then basically as part of their greater presentation here at the G-Star event, they roll this slide. So the slide states here, the future of Team Ninja, and the future of Team Ninja is, after the current projects they have, rebooting popular series, specifically Ninja Gaiden and Dead or Alive. Ninja Gaiden, well, that's kind of easy, honestly. The original Ninja Gaiden, well, for Xbox anyways, not like going back to the 80s, but the original Ninja Gaiden and Ninja Gaiden Black are considered legendary games, straight up. Maybe the other ones weren't as good, but they were still pretty dang decent, right? And Dead or Alive, well, that's why we're here making the video, right? So after, honestly, the disastrous Dead or Alive 6, a reboot, I think, is exactly what's in order, right? Look at what the game is fundamentally good at and cut a lot of the chaff. And of course, add whatever new features as appropriate, because you always got to have new stuff too, right? Of all the 3D fighters, to me, I always found that Dead or Alive was the easiest for people just to kind of pick up and play. Because, well, you know, mashing is always mashing, but the counter system I always found was incredibly intuitive, even for the most absolute base level beginner. Like, yeah, they might mash or whatever, but still, it makes them feel good whenever they get the random counter off. And, you know, at higher level play, the whole counter system is mind games, mind games, mind games. The perfect example of I'm so inside your head that I'm just going to call you out just raw, right? And at higher levels of play, people spamming counters is really not that much of a concern. If you're unaware for Dead or Alive, if you get thrown while you're trying to counter, that throw is going to do a hell of a lot more damage. And a lot of characters are probably going to take about half your life for the attempt. So other than just focusing on the basics, who knows what it could be. One thing I've always found Dead or Alive has done better than other 3D fighters is stages. A stage is so much more than just, you know, here's the ring out or here's the wall combo in DOA. Like, you still have to worry about falling off a stage or bouncing off a wall in Dead or Alive, sure, but just stuff like so much character specifics when it comes to being near stairs or a ledge or something like that. So many characters have just so much life and so much uniqueness when it comes to that. Like, don't let Lisa grab you near the stairs, otherwise she's going to rolling death cradle you down every single step along the way. Or just other things like if you happen to be standing in water, depending on the move hitting you, you can actually be in more hit stun than usual thanks to being in the water. Hell, some characters like Leon have water-specific grabs where he'll try to like drown you. The environment is what Dead or Alive does better than every other 3D fighter, so if they're going to reboot the franchise, I would like to see them kind of double and triple down on exactly that. Now, I don't want to get too much on the speculation train here, because honestly, this is probably years away. Team Ninja's not exactly a giant studio within Koei Tecmo, and they got to finish up Wolong, and obviously Rise of the Ronin is still an ongoing development. But basically, there is now hope for the franchise, where honestly, there really was none before. So all I can say is I really hope they double down on their strengths and try not to fall into the pitfalls of before. Focus on a good game like Dead or Alive 3, Dead or Alive 4, Dead or Alive 5, rather than focusing on DLC costumes non-stop, please. Costumes are part of what sunk the ship, as it were, in Dead or Alive 6. That said, I'm just glad there's future for 3D fighting games besides just Tekken 8. On that note, and it's further on in the future, but keep in mind EVO Japan next year. Virtua Fighter 5, that plucky young 16-year-old game, is one of the main games at EVO Japan next year. VF5 Ultimate Showdown skipped EVO 2022 because the producer didn't want to show up if he didn't have anything to announce. And he's showing up here now, so he might have something to announce. So basically, the future of 3D fighting games might actually get a little bit crowded again, and I'm all for it. So here's hoping for an eventual Virtua Fighter 6, and here's hoping for that Dead or Alive reboot, and hopefully it can make the franchise as best as it can possibly be. That all said, my friends, that's the news as it stands, and that is the end of the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some fighting games.